Hey, hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session of live counter review using technical analysis. So for today's, the flow will be same as per usual. First up, I'll go through the US economic calendar. And afterwards, I'll talk about the indices and commodities. Afterwards, I'll go through some of the key sectors like the Mag 7, US banks, semicons, as well as EVs. Then last but not least, I'll also go through the any questions that you all have. Yeah, so if you all have any counters that you want me to go through, feel free to leave them in the Q&A. Yeah, but try to keep them to about three per person, so give everyone a chance for their questions to be answered. Thanks. So without further ado, I'll begin. So in terms of the calendar wise, some events to note will be that tonight, there will be the US markets are closed because there's a holiday. So trading is resumed tomorrow. Then Wednesday, there's the uh IEA monthly report 5 p.m. President Trump speaking, that's at 9:30 p.m. Okay, then afterwards, going to Thursday, I think there's the usual jobless claims at 9:30 p.m. There's also GDP at 9:30 as well. And afterwards, there's the PCA. Something important will be the PCE price index at 11 p.m. Okay, then Friday, there's the crude oil inventories at 1 a.m. Uh, Afterwards, there's the S&P manufacturing as well as services PMI that's at 10:45 p.m. and the Michigan inflation consumer expectations at 11 p.m. So generally the highlights for this week will be to watch see what Trump speaking at 9:30 p.m. or Wednesday. And then Thursday there's the GDP at 9:30 p.m. as well as the PCE at 11 p.m. So those are the more key events this week. So next, I'll go through some of the indices and commodities. So first up, I'll talk about Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin last week was the price action was pretty good. So the breakout of the 90,000 level over here held as support. Afterwards, there was a very strong bullish candle on Tuesday to break out this 94,000 resistance to reach about close to 98K, and then there was a pullback that happened. I think but currently the price action I think is not as good. I think it's currently below this 94K level. So I think for now we might see maybe uh some kind of uh some kind of sideways, I guess, with support likely to still hold at 91 to about this 92.4 level over here, where there's currently today it tested the 20 SMA, this yellow line, and then there's currently a bit of a lower wick happening. So I think there's some support over here. There's a recent consolidation over here likely to hold as a bit of support. In terms of resistance, wise currently there's likely to be some resistance at 94K, which was this key horizontal level to about 95.8K, I guess. Yeah. Then in terms of the weekly wise, I think weekly is still okay because currently on the weekly, um, price actually is holding above the 5 SMA as well as the 10 SMA. So on the weekly, currently is about 91.4 and 90.1K about there. So I think for that, likely we could still see some support on the 5 SMA, at least I feel, where price has been holding above that for about 3 weeks in a row. So that's 91.4K. Yeah, so that's for Bitcoin, likely to see some sideways. I think some strength will only see some strength go back, get back some strength if we see price hold steady above 94K. It's quite a key horizontal level, I feel. Next one, I'll talk about Dow Jones. So in terms of Dow Jones, last week pretty much was quite sideways. I think it's still okay. Still quite strong. Good thing is it's still holding to 10 SMA over here as of Friday's close. And then overall definitely still in this uptrend channel over here. Yeah, so I think for now the key support probably will see a bit of a gap down, but I think key support over here is still around 48.8K. This swing lows over here as well as the previous resistance. Yeah, that's also around the 20 SMA over here. So previously there was some the most recent time I tested this level was like around start of this year, where there was a start of this year that we found support, and then at the 20 SMA level. So I think this will still hold as support 48.8K. If let's say it gets a bit lower, then the next key support I think will be around 48.3K. Yeah. Then 48.3K will coincide with channel support as well. In terms of resistance, will likely be the horizontal resistance we are seeing currently. That's around 49.6K. Then above that, I think will be somewhere close to 50K or near the upper Bollinger Band level. Yeah, so I think for Dow Jones, we could still see maybe some kind of sideways price action between 48.8K to about 49.6K currently. The next one I'll talk about is Nasdaq. So Nasdaq, I think last week was pretty much sideways as well. I think there's still quite a lot of resistance around 23.7K. There's a lot of times, but still unable to have a very clear breakout. But the good thing is that still higher swing lows are forming along the way. So currently, as of last week, the latest swing low is around here 23.3K. So I think I think this area could still hold as a bit of support, largely within 23.1 to 23.3K. And this trend line, there's also a trend line, I think, over here that I think is quite important. So this trend line over here, that has held some of the major dips. Like whenever there's some sharp pullbacks along the way, the recently, like since August, I think this trend line has held some of the key support. So I think this support is quite important. As long as this continue to hold, I would still maintain a more bullish view. But if this breaks down, I think we could see a bit more weakness. So I think this is a key trend line to look at. Close to 21.1K this swing low here over as well. As of now, I think most probably some continued sideways action. With resistance still quite heavy at 23.7K. Quite near the upper Bollinger Band as well. And then we're currently seeing the Bollinger Band is contracting. So we'll probably see some sort of sideways for now. Yeah. The next one, S&P, I think quite similar to Nasdaq as well. Last week was pretty much sideways, but still held above the 6,920 breakout level. And I think still higher swing lows along the way. Then the latest one being on Wednesday, that's at 6,885. So I think it's quite important that I think this holds. If not, there could be some further weakness ahead. Where the next key swing low below that is around 6,824 previously. So for now, key resistance still close to 6,980. I think above that will be closer to about 7,000 and 7,030 perhaps. Yeah. So for S&P, I think probably still a bit quite sideways for now. Yeah. Okay, then that's it for the indices. Then I'll move on to gold. So gold, I think, is still maintaining a very strong momentum. So last week, there was a breakout of this 4,550 level, and then afterwards, on Monday, there was a sideways consolidation. Price still remained at the 5 SMA level. Friday, there was a test of about 10 SMA and then quickly rebounded. And then today, we still see there's a new all-time high where there's a breakout of the resistance at 4,630 about there. So that's definitely still very bullish price action. And generally still quite slow and steady this period. So I think I will still expect the uptrend to continue. I think generally, the resistance-wise, I think could be retest of the upper Bollinger Band level along the way. So that could be somewhere around 4,700 maybe today, and then going up this week maybe could reach about 4,800. Yeah, so I think definitely gold still in a strong uptrend currently. I look at silver as well. Yeah, for silver, I think also quite similar. Last Monday there was a breakout of this horizontal resistance 83. Afterwards, then it reached about 93.50. Then there was a bit of sideways consolidation going on. So I think finally for now, still some support likely still be at these two swing lows. That's around close to 87, and also the 10 SMA. So 10 SMA is also very important. This red line where 10 SMA I think is still a very important key level for the whole trend to actually sustain. Where dips along the way has generally found support at this key level. So these 10 SMA are currently around 85.70 about there. Will also be a level to closely watch out for if there's some dips that happens. In terms of resistance wise, I think same, probably around the upper Bollinger Bands. So currently maybe around 95.50 about there. then it will get higher along the way as well. So that's for the gold and silver still definitely on a strong uptrend right now. Next one I'll talk about WTI oil. So for WTI oil, I think we saw a breakout of this downtrend, this downwards channel as of Monday last week. Also a breakout of this $59 of this horizontal resistance over here. So if you reach about the key level previously, which is around to 61.50 about there, which was like a previous key support breakdown, then turned to a resistance. Still holding as resistance for now. I think then currently afterwards, since Wednesday onwards, we're seeing a bit of a pullback. So I think key for now to see whether oil can continue to go higher would be to see whether this retest currently $58 to $59 over here can hold as support. So that's around the 20 SMA level. So as this horizontal previous resistance. On the weekly as well, I think will be to see whether the 5 and 10 SMEs on the weekly, I think currently around 58 can hold as support. So there's a lot of confluence around here, around the 58 to 59 area. Yeah, if this holds for a bounce, I think there could be a chance where we see oil back at 61.50 or above subsequently. Yeah, then next one is VIX. So for VIX, nothing much, just still pretty much sideways. The key resistance has still held around 18. So as long as stay under 18, probably we'll still see the current market structure hold. But if it gets above 18 afterwards, the next key resistance may be around 22 period. Yeah, based on previous levels. Yeah, so if it gets above 18, we might see more volatility in the markets. But currently now, I think still okay. Then support still somewhere around 14 and below. Yeah, so VIX currently still in a bit of range. Next one I'll talk about is copper. So copper, I think for now it's so copper for now, I think some slight weakness in terms of momentum. So because copper, you see during the uptrend over here, it's held this 10 SMA as a very key support. Even during the pullbacks, it has managed to find support along the way. Then currently it's below this 10 SMA, currently about 5.97 for 2 trading sessions in a row. So if it continues to remain there, as well as if it breaks below like around this 20 SMA, I would say maybe 5.8, which is also like a horizontal level over here, 5.7. That could mean some more pullback for copper, yeah, especially after like a double top over here as well. So for now, I'd say maybe some support around like 5.72 to about 5.88. Yeah, but if it continues to hold this weakness, I think we could see some further weakness again for copper. Yeah, so that's it for some of the indices and commodities. Next one, I'll start off with I'll go through the sector. So first I'll start off with the Mag 7 over here. Yeah, so let me just go through the overall like sort of index for the Mag 7 first, which is the Roundhill Mag 7 ETF, codename MAGS. So I think for Mag 7 overall, it has shown some weakness. So generally, I think I've been highlighting this upward support line to watch out for. So this has been a line that even during some of the pullbacks along the way, like August, November, then December, it has held key supports. Currently, last week was pretty weak for the Mag 7, as seen from this ETF itself. So it has remained under this uptrend support line for 3 trading days in a row. Yeah, so I think for now definitely some weakness, but we can, I think, yeah, so that's like first sign of weakness. But after that, for some further confirmation would be to see whether it breaks below this 64.30 and then this horizontal support level as well. So if it breaks below this level, that would mean a breakdown of this range over here. And that will spell more weakness perhaps to the next key support close to 61.70 over here. Yeah, so definitely some weakness for now, but watch out for any follow through if it breaks below this support. Yeah, for the next. Yeah, then in terms of the weekly wise, yeah, some weakness as well confirmed the weekly where there was a close below the 10 SMA in the weekly. Yeah, then there will be further confirmation of weakness if it breaks below the 20 SMA. Yeah, which it hasn't done since the sell off since the sell off in February last. So this is quite a key important level right now for the Mag 7 ETF. Yeah, so some weakness for that overall for the Max 7 counters. Then next one I'll go through the different Max 7 names one by one. So first I'll talk about Meta. So for Meta, I think we're seeing some weakness back in the counter. So generally, yes, it's breakdown. Last week there was a breakdown of this 638 this level. So I think this level is quite important because over here, it was trading in a range over here, and then it tested this support quite a few times, like this mid of December, and then mostly recently in 8 January there was a bit of a bounce, but generally price has remained below the short-term moving averages like the 5, 10, and 20. And then last Tuesday was a breakdown of these levels. So generally seeing some weakness. I think so we could maybe see some weakness towards first level of support. I would say maybe 608. It could retest this level. So yeah, actually feel this is a level over here that it could retest. Then next key support, maybe that will hold, I think would be 583. So 583 was this swing low in mid-November after a sell down before the price did a bit of rebound. So if it tests this level, I think this will be a very good support for Meta in the short term. So for Meta, seeing some weakness over here for now. Yeah. Then next one, Apple continue to see weakness. So price did consolidation sideways. So it's just holding many days at the 257 level, this previous resistance and support level. And yeah, 257 was also like a previous all-time high back in December 2024. But definitely still weakness as we can see price is below, still finding resistance from the 5 and 10 SMEs in general over here. And then there was a breakdown on Friday below 257. So I think with that, we could expect maybe still more weakness to come for Apple in the short term. I think likely to see next key support level that it could possibly test is maybe 251 over here. And then next one is around 245. So 245 was if it tests this level, I think that will be a good support for price to do with a bounce. Yeah, if it reaches this level, because RSI currently, I think it's a bit oversold now, 25. Yeah, so if it goes a bit lower, I think that could be a big price to do a bit of a rebound from. But I think for now, overall, Apple still seeing some weakness. Yeah, then I will be looking at 251 and 245 as the next supports. Next one I'll talk about is Amazon. So Amazon, I think still a bit better. So Amazon did last week, it did a pullback from the highs. And currently I want to see whether it holds 236 over here. So 236 will be a key level, as this was I would say this is a ascending triangle resistance over here that price broke off. So I'll see now whether it can hold this weakness over here, which is around the 20 SME level as well. Yeah, if it holds, then we could possibly expect some rebound to do some sideways in the short term with near-term resistance at like 243 to about 248 over here. Yeah, so that's for Amazon. Next one, Netflix. Netflix has results coming out this week. I think it's tomorrow. So for Netflix, definitely still very weak over here, just slowly trending down. So that's actually that's one sign of some continued weakness in this counter, where generally has been finding resistance from the 5 and 10 SMEs over here. So I would say for now, in terms of the next key level, still remains as what I plotted previously, like 82 to 86, this zone over here. If it does reach this place, maybe some rebound will take place. But I think for now at this stage, let's see what happens after the earnings. Yeah, and that's how the chart will change afterwards. Some of the key resistance for now will be this around 92.70, this breakdown of the range, and then afterwards with 97 at higher level. Yeah, so that's for Netflix. Okay, I think next one, probably the strongest Max 7 stock right now is Alphabet. So I think the chart is still okay. So as with the Max 7 sector doing a bit of a weakness last week, it did a bit of a pullback from Tuesday downwards. So, but I think overall still okay as prices looks like a retest of this previous resistance breakout at 328. And also here is around the 10 SMA level as well. So you can find some support around this area. I think will be still okay. Generally, I think the bigger picture, I think I'll be looking at this uptrend channel over here. So as long as it doesn't break below the supports of this uptrend channel as well as the previous resistance over here, then I think we'll be still okay for Alphabet. Yeah, still the max 7, so I think at the near the 52-week highs currently. Yeah, so these are some of the supports around 328, then next one is around like 322, this horizontal level, as well as the channel support. Yeah. And last but not least, Microsoft is also showing some weakness. So Microsoft, I would say the chart looks a bit like Meta, so they was consolidating the range. Then after a few retests of the support at 470, then there was a breakdown Wednesday last week. So overall, still looks pretty bearish after like a double top over here around 552, then breakdown of 492, and then after this turn the resistance near range and breakdown the range support afterwards. So I will be looking at some lower support levels that it could be testing. So that will be somewhere maybe 444 to 451, this area next as the next support. Yeah. And the next one may be around I think somewhere around 434. So these are some of the lowest support levels for Microsoft based on previous prices. Yeah, so I think for now still looks pretty bearish, yeah, for Microsoft. So that's it for the Max 7. I think on the whole we can see that yeah, you can see why the overall the Max 7 sector is pretty showing some weakness right now. Some of the counters are definitely a bit weak, and then even the stronger ones like Alphabet and Amazon are doing a bit of a pullback. So I think this week really is to see whether the strong ones can hold the pullback, and then yeah, the weak ones see whether they can they can find some support at the lower support levels. If not, the index we could see further weakness or break down the key level that I see. So in terms of the Max 7 ETF, if it breaks below this 6430 as well as this horizontal trading range, then I think we could be looking at further downside for the sector in general. Yeah. Then next one I'll talk about is the banking finance sector, which has just released some results. So in terms of XLF, after the strength of that we've seen, generally what we are seeing a bit of a pullback after some of the news surrounding this sector recently, as well as after the earnings. So generally, I think it's still okay. As looks like for now, we're seeing a retest of 54. If you're looking at this XLF, which is the Spider Financial Sector ETF. So generally, previously, 54 was the resistance. Now it's doing a retest over here. So this area must hold, like around this area of previous resistance must hold as support for the whole uptrend to actually continue. Yeah, then I would say for now, there's likely to be some resistance close to about 55 over here, around the 10 and 20 SME levels, which is also like a horizontal level over here currently. Yeah, in terms of weekly, still okay as we tested a 10 SMA over here. Yeah, and still above the 20 SMA as well. Yeah, I'll move on to some of the individual. I'll talk about some of the banking names. So will be JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and Citibank. So looking at JP Morgan after I think overall it's still trading. The trend is still intact in terms of uptrend. It's still trading within this uptrend channel itself. And then what we are seeing is a pullback. Definitely some weakness after the earnings where it broke this key 320, 321 level over here. Then afterwards, pull back close to this support over here around like 305, doing some slight rebound to test the 5 SMA. So I think for now we are probably will be seeing some weakness some resistance from about the Friday's highs about 316 to about 321. I think that will be the current resistance. For support wise, I think will be lows, I think last week around 306, about there. Then the next support level, if it breaks the channel, the next support level will be like close to 297, 290s. This area will be quite a very strong support from the lower weeks over here previously. So overall, the uptrend is still, I think the uptrend is still intact for JP Morgan, but I think it's quite important to hold the channel as well as the 20 SMA over here to sustain the uptrend channel. Next one, Bank of America. I think Bank of America also earnings we've seen just a gap down and then kind of sideways over here around like 52 to 53 this area. So probably some resistance. I think currently is at 53.60 to about 54.50. This gap over here. Currently a bit weak because the price is below this upward support line. So if it continues to remain below that, we could be seeing some further pullback. If it fails some of the supports like 50, if it breaks below like 52, then we could maybe see some further pullback towards the next support close to $50.80 over here. This level. So Bank of America a bit weaker than JP Morgan. Yeah, also tested 20 SMA of weekly. So if it continues to break below that, we could be seeing some further weakness. Yeah. Given that it's currently slightly below this rising wedge pattern over here. Then for Wells Fargo, I think overall the uptrend is still intact. For this, I think generally, I think after the results, there was a gap down over here, then price drifted slightly lower. So I think for now, the keys, there will be likely to be some support if it tests close to like 87, this area, 87 to like 850, because this was a period of time from October to about start of December. There was a very long period of consolidation here with a very strong resistance. So if it does test this previous resistance, I think I would expect some support over here for a bounce. Yeah, and resistance likely to be about 90, close to 91 about there. So maybe some range sideways over here for now. Yeah, then next one is Citigroup. Citigroup after the earnings, there was the pullback. So tested about this horizontal level close to 110.50, then doing some rebound. So for now, there's some resistance is at this close to 119 level, which is also around the 10 SMA. So if you can, let's see whether you can break this pass up this level, it could retest back the close to 122.80 horizontal resistance. Yeah, if it fails as continues to hold as resistance, most likely we'll probably see some range bound between 110 to 116 over here. Yeah. So in terms of weekly, yeah, tested the 10 SMA from a lower week last week. And so in general, to sum up the banks, I think showing some weakness after the results. I think for now is to see whether some of the key supports will still hold to maintain the uptrend. For example, for the index is at this 54, around this 54 level must hold to sustain the general uptrend that we've seen since the breakout in mid-December. Yeah. Then next one next sector I'll move on is the semicons. So I think semicon sector in general, it has still maintained the strength last week. So for the semicon index, Philadelphia semicon index, stocks we're still seeing a higher high over here last week. They're still very healthy of the breakout over here at 7,390. Yeah, so in terms of index wise, it's still okay. Nothing much to look at. In terms of support, if there's any pullbacks, I think close to 7,700 will be support level, the horizontal level as well as the 510 SMEs over here. Okay, then moving on to some of the different names in the semicon space. I think first time I want to talk about is NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, nothing too much. It's still still range bound. I wouldn't say there's no strength in this counter yet, I feel. It's just moving sideways. Whenever it comes to 183, 184, there's some support around here. And generally, yeah, during this range, the 190 to 193, there's still a lot of resistance. So just moving sideways. So I think for this counter, my view still remains 183, 184 still remains a very important level. If this continues to break, I think last week we had some tests and the rebound. If afterwards it continues to test and it breaks, I think we'll be looking at some weakness to come. Yeah, but for now, I think still okay, just maintaining we will still likely be trading in a bit of a range, as it did. Yeah, in terms of weekly, I think it's quite important that this 183, 184 holds because it's around the it's around the 10 and 20 SMEs over here as well. So quite an important support. If this breaks, then we're looking at some lower support levels. Yeah, so for NVIDIA, still range trading over here. Then next one for AMD. Yeah, AMD has some strength last week, so it managed to hold this short-term trend line over here, and then did a rebound, eventually testing this swing high over here at 234, where it found a bit of resistance. So I think for this week wise I want to see whether how it tests this 224, 225 level, this horizontal level over here. Yeah, if you can hold this as support subsequently, then I think there could be some upside towards 240 and above. Yeah, so I think this is important will be to see whether how it handles this horizontal level here, whether it can hold as support upon the back test. Yeah, next one, TSM. TSM definitely still very bullish before and after the results. So for TSM, I think it kind of hit the range like this range projection, and I think it's still trending well. So after the results, we're seeing a gap up over here and kind of just sideways for 2 days. So I think for now, still very strong and likely to find support from any pullbacks. So I think if it does somehow pull back to 333, I think that will be support with the 5 and 10 SMEs that it has been trailing along as well. So definitely TSM still, we should expect the uptrend to continue. Yeah, still looks very bullish in terms of the chart. And for ASML also bullish. So for ASML, yeah, definitely still seeing new highs as well. And after the TSM results, also kind of similar price action. I just kept out and sideways for 2 days. So current support I would say is around like this close to 1,280s over here. If it does a back test, that will represent I think support. Along then afterwards, I think price will likely continue to trail along the 5 and 10 SMEs along here and right higher. So it's still a strong uptrend over here. And then next one, Marvell. I think Marvell last week it was quite sideways 3 days at this key support around 80, 81 over here. So this is a swing low as well as when I zoom out, this is a possible uptrend channel support as well. So I think this is quite important. If this week it breaks below this level, I think we could be looking at some lower supports close to this swing low like 73, 74, this swing low again. Yeah. Then resistance for now likely to be like 83 to 84, this area over here. Yeah, so not so strong for now in terms of the price action. Then Micron still remains strong. Next one, Micron just did I would say this is like a bullish flag. So it just was a strong rally. Afterwards, did a sideways, but price still maintaining the 5 SMA versus 10 SMA. Then broke out this 344 key resistance. So I will still expect uptrend to continue. Resistance, any short-term resistance, I think, would be to maybe look at the upper Bollinger Band. Currently, it's around 373, 374 about there. So I think I would still expect the uptrend to actually continue since it did this consolidation as a fresh breakout on Friday. Yeah, any supports will be likely along this moving averages over here. Then I'll talk about the last two, Broadcom and Intel. Broadcom, I think still nothing much. It's still a range, so to see whether the key levels, to watch out for key levels at the 360 over here, and also the lower end is at 330. So it's to see, watch out for any breakouts to decide the next direction. Yeah, so around 360, this is also confirmed at around the 10 SMA on the weekly as well. So above 360, I would say if it breaks a bit above that, the next key resistance I think will be around 370. Then below 330, the next support is like 323. Then afterwards, they will be looking at closer to a gap close to 306, 307. Yeah, so for Broadcom, still range bound to see whether the next direction will be the breakout of the range. Then next one, Intel. Intel is still strong. I think kind of exceeded my expectations where it is currently trading outside of this uptrend channel over here. So definitely still strong and trailing along the 5 SMA. So I think short-term supports will likely be around $44, this swing high above at today's 10 SMA area over here. And also the earnings coming out this week. So we see how it goes afterwards. In terms of the previous resistance levels, previously, I think around 49 to 50s over here, there was quite a bit of resistance. It marked the peak. It marked a key peak in December 2023. So that will be quite an important level, 49 to 50 about there. Yeah, for Intel in the short term, which it tested last week, faced some resistance. So I think let's see how it goes after the earnings this week. So to sum up the semicon names, I think if you look at the index, it's still very strong, higher highs. And then generally for the semicon names, we are still seeing the rotation names maintaining the strength. So instead of the usual, like previously was NVIDIA, AMD, now we are seeing the TSM, ASML, Micron, as well as the other like storage names are still holding up the strength. So I think overall, we could expect the uptrend to still continue for these counters and still showing good price action. Okay, next one, last sector I'll talk about is the EV names. So first off, I'll start with Tesla. Tesla last week, I think some slight weakness as price couldn't maintain the 5 and 10 SMEs over here. So I was looking whether it can hold a back test at around 442 over here, which is also like a horizontal support level. So it just kind of just sideways for 3 days with some resistance at 440, like these 440s over here. Then support, I think, will for now, maybe still around 430, around this swing low. I think that could still hold as support. There will be somewhere near this uptrend support line in blue as well. So for Tesla, maybe short-term wise could be some sideways consolidation, I guess. Between around 430 could be a support. And then resistance wise now for 445. Above that, I think we'll still hold some resistance at close to 456, which is like this around these swing highs as well as a 20 SM. Yeah, so could be a bit range bound in the short term. Then in terms of the weekly wise, currently is generally between the 5 SMA as a resistance and 20 SMA as a support. Yeah. Okay, that's for Tesla. Then next one is Xpeng. Xpeng, still quite range. Nothing much happening for now. So generally the range still 1960 to about 22 over here. Above 22, the next key resistance is like about 2370 about. Yeah. and below the 1960s, the like close to 18. So nothing much for now. For new, okay, still weakness below, still maintaining below the 4.8 level. Support, I think we still go at 4.4 for this level over here. So maybe still a bit of a range for now. And then next one, Rivian. Yeah. So this one couldn't hold the 1840 level. So we're seeing some weakness towards this support thing will be close to about 1610, 1620 about here for hold as a short-term support. Okay, that's it for the different sectors. I think still have about close to half an hour for your counters. So I'll go through your questions that you all have. Okay. So hi BY, your counters are Pfizer, and Nebius. Let me look at the charts. Okay, for Pfizer, I would say it is slightly bullish. But yeah, I think it's a ascending triangle consolidation in terms of my chart. So it's like the key resistance around 2650, but the good thing is that forming higher lows along the way. So this has been taking place since like end of July last year. And also horizontal range, if you see over here, like 2480 to 2650. So I think for now, nothing too much. If you can break above the highs of last week, like this 2580, we might see price going upwards to test 2650 again. Possibly, yeah. For now, still very much range bound. Yeah, I would say as long as it doesn't break below this 2480, the horizontal support as well as the upward support over here, then should be still possibly could be still possible to trend high afterwards. But for now, I think it's quite the signs are quite pointing towards like a continued range bound. Yeah. And then above 2650, the next key resistance, I would think it's around like 2780 over here previously. Then next one, your next question is on yeah. So let me take a yeah. So for I think is for now it's still a bit of a downtrend over here. So generally, I think for this the key resistance around the 20 SMA, when it hits this, when there's some rebound to this level, it tends to find a bit of resistance. And recently, it broke below this 110 support level. So I think with that, they're still quite bearish. 110 was also like this key level where price recovered from support breakdown to resistance and then afterwards go upwards. So 110 key level that price is under. I would think downtrend could still continue towards about 96, 97. This swing low in April last year, and also some of the key previous supports. Yeah, so for I think yeah, still downtrend could test this level. Next one, Nebius. I think Nebius could be trying to trend upwards. So it's a range. Generally, it's a range. I feel 78 to 100 203. Signs are okay, like a possible double bottom. Afterwards, the price action over here, I think it's quite okay as well. Price has been trending along the 5 and 10 SMEs, uh, higher lows. And so I think for now, looks like a bit of sideways consolidation. But if you can continue to hold these supports like currently like 101, then I think could be still positive to try to continue higher towards 117. 117 is the next key horizontal level. Yeah, so for Nebius, I think still okay. Yeah, as long as it doesn't break below this recent build up over here. Okay, next question, MP Surf and Solar. So MP is MP Materials. MP Materials, I think a bit similar kinds of price action to the just now Nibius. Yeah, so because if you look at it, it's like a also like a double bottom at $50.50. Then also afterwards price recovered above 55. This breakdown level they arranged and then recovered. And then continue the bullish sign 65 over here, 65 resistance. Price did kind of sideways over here, but bulls still showing power over here. Yeah, and still close off pretty good on the week. So I think as long as it maintains at least a 10 SMA and still try to remain above 65, I think still bullish. I think there's still chance of it trying to recover to trying to go higher towards 75 is the next key level. So this was like some of the key reaction points at the horizontal level previously. Yeah, for MP materials. I think chart wise is still looking okay for now in the short term. The next one, Surf Robotics. Surf Robotics, I think also okay. For this, price is doing like a build up over here. Just a range above this price resistance of like 14 and holding the holding 5 to 10 SMEs as the support. So I think if we continue to hold above this resistance, then subsequently if we can break out this 1550, possibly we might see try to see test like towards 17 or 18 this resistance again. Yeah, so for Servo Robotics, yeah, I think still looking okay for now. Just sideways consolidation above a swing high resistance. Next one for solar, the volume over here is pretty low for this counter. Next one, in terms of technicals, January has been downwards trending. Yeah, then recent price action is retest last week. So let's see. Last week we tested 128 prior support breakdown, afterwards doing some slight pullback over here. So currently I want to see whether it can maintain around this $1 level. So this was this breakout over here on the high volume day. And then the 10 and 20 SMA level. So if you can hold the back test over here, it might continue to be a range $1 to 130. Yeah. Then you can break above 130. Subsequently, the next key resistance one is 155. Yeah, for solar. Okay, next one is Salesforce, Moderna, and Lululemon. Okay. Let me just adjust some of the charts. Okay, for Salesforce, in terms of the price action, last week not very good because previously I think it was okay, it was holding in this range 252 to 266, but then Tuesday onwards has a breakdown this support. And then afterwards we're seeing strong kind of bearish momentum down below 243, 234 and close to this 225. So I think a very sharp drop towards this support area like 221 to 225. So I think there might be some slight bounce after this very fast drop last week from at this support area. But probably could find some resistance at 230s area over here, like 234 to 240 area if there's a rebound upwards. Yeah, generally then in terms of the longer term trend, it's still downtrend. Then I think this 225 level is quite important because yes, this level, right, we have seen some bouncy key rebounds over here about 1, 2, 3 times. So this is the fourth time it's coming to retest. So the more times the support is being tested, the weaker it will get. And in the case it doesn't rebound, then we could look at looking at further weakness. Yeah, because I would take it as this is a huge trading range. Then if it breaks down the support 2 to 5, we could be looking at lower supports next, like close to maybe somewhere like 210s over here. Yeah, for Salesforce. So that's my view of the charts. Next one, Moderna. I think the chart has been pretty good recently. So for Moderna, I think it's a double bottom at 23.30. Then price is broke out 35.50 over here. So I think it's still shaping up nicely. In terms of the projected target, I think there could be some upside if it follows the projected target. So based on the Dow bottom breakout, could be looking at maybe 47, 46 to 47. So for now, it's at 41.80, strong last week. Could be seeing some support. And for now, it's maybe 39. This swing low, and then around the 5 SMA for now. So I think still quite bullish. I think we could be looking at some further upside for Moderna in the short term to test next level is maybe 46, 47, this area, November 2024 to January 2025. So this will be 46 to 49 about there, which is around the projected target of this bottom range breakout. Yeah, for Moderna, the chart looks good. Well, for now in the short term. Next one, Lululemon. Yeah, for Lululemon, okay, let me look at it. Okay, for Lululemon, I think for now the key will be to see whether it can maintain this 200 level. This is 200 is a psychological level. And then also this was the level that after the earnings price gap up over here that is maintaining this range 200 to about 220, I would say. So for now in the short term, some weakness has come in where previously like this 208, 209 it was holding in this range, right? Then there was a breakdown, retest, and subsequently price hasn't really got back up since from like 9 January. So if it does break 200 over here, we might be looking at some further weakness to come. Yeah, if it fails to 200, then might be coming back to like 190s again over here. Then short-term support will still be this 210 over here. It needs to really stand above this 210 to try to go back towards like 220s for Lululemon. So in way of trading range right now, but if it breaks below this 200, then we could be looking at some weakness down from this current range. Okay, next one, MSI and ETHB. The MSI, I think it's continues to inch upwards. So for now, it looks like a breakout of this range consolidation through 6. Then last week tested 396 and closed the week okay. Tested for around 403 as well. So yeah, I think so for this, I think still looking okay. We might be looking at further recovery if continues to form a higher high. Yeah, next, let me see. The next possible resistance, I think maybe at 413, 414, then 424. Based on some of the previous horizontal levels. Yeah, so yeah, this one is like a range, then breaks out, then range again. So I think as long as you continue to see this pattern, generally finding some key support along the 10 SMA for now could be still okay to trend higher for now. Next one, the ETH VanEck Ethereum ETF. For now, I think it's still kept in the range. So key resistance to try and break is still around this $50.40. Good thing is still higher swing lows along the way. Yeah, so if subsequently if you can continue to hold, for now I think support is around this 45 to 47. If you continue to hold higher lows, then subsequently you can break out 50 over here. Then the next resistance will be 54, 55 this area. Yeah, but for now it's still kept in this range. So nothing much for now. Okay, hi Alan, your counters LQT upstart and on okay, first one LQT. Yeah, for LQT, I think recently break managed to break out of this 81 resistance and just uh slowly just form inching upwards and forming a consolidation range broke above this 88. So I think possible to still go a bit higher. Maybe to test 95 again. This intraday highs of this earnings gap down in November. That could be the resistance. Yeah. So I think it's just slowly inching upwards. And as long as this 85 over here, the lower wicks and the 10 SMA still hold as support, I think that could still support some rebound again. Next one is upstart. Okay, for upstart, generally I think is uh nothing too much right now. Is a range, it still continues to range bound after getting out of this downtrend resistance line. So yeah, it's still a well-defined range 43 to 50 about here. Nothing much happening. If you can break above 50, the next resistance I think could test maybe like 54 to 55 over here. Yeah, so upside still nothing too much for now in this range. Yeah, yeah, for then 43, 44 must hold over here for it to try to rebound higher. Next one on holding. On holding, I think some weakness for now. So it was downtrend. Then afterwards, rebounding. Then afterwards, I think it broke below some supports. So after testing like the 51 previous support, holding as resistance, we see price breaking below this 48, this horizontal support, the short-term moving edges as well. Then second level of breakdown is this 46 over here as well. So might be seeing some continued pullback as maybe this 43, 42, 40 level over here. And then next one maybe at 41, 40. Yeah, so might be seeing some weakness come back in over here to test these levels. Okay, then I see some Singapore counters, Mapletree Logistics Trust, IBEF, and Netlink. Then for the question why IBEF has not participated in the market outmove, okay, I can't give you a good answer in terms of fundamentals, but let me look at the chart later and comment on it. Yeah, so for MLT, Mapletree Logistics Trust, I think still okay. So this one it tends to do a range and breakout. Then still continue the uptrend since the April rebound. Still above 133, this range resistance recently just consolidating sideways. So as long as stay above 133, I think still okay. Then next resistance I would think is around 139, 140. So this was like the resistance like October 2024 and February 2024. Yeah, I think this one's still okay. It's a gradual steady uptrend. Then next one I look at IBEF. IBEF, why hasn't participated in the market outmove? I think for this counter, I would feel that doesn't really follow the technicals very well. So initially over here, I think in October last year, I think it was there could be a chance of it trying to break out. So previously I was seeing a breakout of this range for 47.5 cents and then finding some resistance at close to 50 cents via support breakdown. I think it's okay. Back test, but I'm able to hold over here. So it has been in its own, I think it's been in its own world. So for Thai BEP, I think it's a bit hard. Generally for now it's back to the old range, 45.5 to 47.5 cents, this range. So yeah, for now I think we'll still likely hold in this range. Then below 45.50, the next support 43.50. And above that you have 49.50. So it's either these few levels, I think. In probably very hard to form a trend for this counter. Yeah. And next one, Netlink. Yeah, for Netlink, I think this one is still very gradual uptrend. So it's very range some of the times, but overall it's been still uptrend. And recently wise range consolidation. Yeah, so generally like 94 cents, 97 cents. Higher lows, still higher lows form along very positive signs. So if you can maintain like 95.50, subsequently, if you can break out 97 cents, then most likely we'll see higher highs ahead. Yeah. With the potential range maybe to hit $1, if we take 94 to 97 cents, that's a 0.03 height of the range. Yeah, so that's my comments for your Singapore counters. Okay, hi Sharon. I see you have two questions. For the question, is there any impact of Trump threatened Europe tariff over Greenland? I think we are seeing it, the impact right now in terms of the current futures. The market is not open, but in terms of the futures, yeah, some impact. I think in terms of that, I can't really comment in terms of the fundamentals or the macro side, but in terms of technical, I think it's quite important in terms of the index right now. So, for example, let's see, I'll just put on Nasdaq, for example. So on Nasdaq, I think start of the webinar, I mentioned that I'll be looking at this very important trend line support along the way. So if let's say probably it will be a gap down, but I want to see whether this holds. If what happens, it doesn't hold, then we could be expecting some weakness to come, given that it hasn't break above some resistance in terms of the S&P, S&P and Nasdaq particularly, because Dow is a bit stronger. Yeah, so that in terms of impact wise, I think we still need to look at the charts to see whether it still holds some of the important levels to maintain sort of the strength, or at least the sideways that we are seeing. Yeah, that's my opinion. Okay, then your next question is support and resistance for Palantir, ANET, and Marvell. Okay, for Palantir, in terms of resistance, I think for now it's still around this range 170, 181 over here. So the backtest generally around the 20 SMA level has been a bit of resistance. So I would say 181, then above that 187, this swing high, and also a horizontal level. In terms of support, we could be looking at this swing low. So there was a bit of weakness on Friday. If we test this swing low, I think there could be some bounce, 166. Below that, the next support may be somewhere around 161, 163, this area. So because yeah, there was a bit of a range previously back in September, and we test over here. So this is a key horizontal level, I feel. So that's what I would say for Palantir. And for Arista in a bit of a range right now. So key resistance still at 136 horizontal level. Afterwards, next one is around like 137, I think about here. This area. Supports. Support for now, if you can hold this level, that will be 127, 128 about there. Then below that is the range over here, close to 120, 120. Next one, Marvel. Okay, currently is at one support 81, but hasn't shown any confirmation or any very bullish signs. So in case if it continues to break down this area over here, the next one to look at is maybe 70, closer to 74 this swing low. 74, then next one 60, 68 to 69 over here. Yeah, then in terms of resistance, first level of resistance currently is around 84. So this was like a breakdown level, and then around the 10 to 20 SMA level. Above that, next level of resistance I was thinking is 88, around here. So hope this helps. The next question, Adobe, Salesforce, and STI index. Okay, for Adobe, let me look at the charts. Okay, for Adobe, I think does do very good because overall it's still in a downtrend. Then recently is what it did was a sideways range, and very signed last week lah. So I think in terms of the price action, a bit similar to the Salesforce I mentioned earlier on. So downtrend, then sideways range. Then last week broke this 311 level. So now I think this will likely be, if there's any retest, I think this area 311 above will likely be some resistance. In terms of the chart, we'll be still seeing some weakness to test some of the levels seen back in the September to November 2022 period. So the key swing lows back then was like closer to 278. So I think we might be still seeing some weakness to test. Closer to 270, that will be a stronger support. Yeah. And next one, STI. STI, I think is still very bullish. Try to find my STI chart. Okay. Yeah, STI is still very bullish. I think overall it's still maintaining above this uptrend channel over here that it was generally trading in since end of July. So that's a pickup recently in terms of bullish momentum since the start of the year. Then in terms of recent price action, I think it has still maintained the 5 SMA lah. So it's still trading along this 5 SMA blue line, currently 4827. So very strong momentum. That's still the dynamic support. In terms of if there's a bigger dip to come, if there's a bigger dip to come, I think the key horizontal support will be somewhere closer to like 4,780s over here, where there's a few three lower wicks form and then 10 SMA. So STI is still very bullish. In terms of resistance, we might be seeing some short-term key resistance if it tests the upper Bollinger Band, I feel. That may be somewhere around 4880 and above as of now. Yeah. So STI is still looking very strong as of now. Okay, then I see there's a question on Microsoft. Microsoft is holding around the current levels at earnings around the corner. Do you think earnings will have a positive impact on stock price as seems to have done for the past few quarters? Okay, so I can't really comment on that. I really feel that for earnings, right, US earnings, whether it's good or bad, doesn't necessarily translate to whether, let's say, earnings good doesn't necessarily mean the stock will go up. So there's a lot of other factors. So like in terms of outlook, then I think there's also a lot of options that are influenced there that will affect the stock price as well. So I can't really, I think really it's a 50-50 to me lah, at least. But in terms of the charts, I still think it's a bit weak, unless it really can hold above 470 after the earnings. Yeah. So for now, it's still like a top breakdown and recent range consolidation breakdown. Yeah. So let's see how it goes after the earnings. Yeah. So I can't comment on the fundamentals as well. Okay, let's see some of the storage names. Seagate, Western Digital, SanDisk. Okay. Okay, in terms of the charts, still very positive, definitely. For Seagate, yeah, Seagate, for this, maintain the 307, 308 this level. Then last week, back to test around 332, close to here is the horizontal resistance. So still tested about third time as of Friday. So I want to see whether can continue to trail along to form a higher low, let's say above this 309 swing low and above like the 5 and 10 SMA continue to hold the support. I would say for now, in terms of the uptrend channel, it could be on the higher end over here. So maybe for now, if it really follows the uptrend channel, it could be maybe a bit sideways for now, I feel. Yeah, given that also at the touch the upper Bollinger Band level. Next one, Western Digital. Western Digital, I think something a bit similar to the Seagate just now. So it's an uptrend channel. Now it's near the highs of the channel and also hit the upper Bollinger Band on Friday. That's around 228. Some slight pullback. So I think for now, it's still okay if it maintains 218. So 218 is this horizontal resistance that it was above for 2 days and also the 5 SMA level. So you can maintain this level, we might see some sideways over here. But if it goes below 218, then could be seeing some short term, a bit more pullback towards, I think maybe 209, 210. It could be testing this swing low at the 10 SMA over here. Yeah, so in the short term wise, I would think if the uptrend channel holds, could be maybe a bit range bound in the short term. Then for SanDisk, yeah, for SanDisk, I think this one is still relatively strong. I think since the breakout of this range, is the price has trailed along the 5 SMA, so that's still a very key dynamic support to look out for. For it to trail along. The as a horizontal level, I will be looking out at 398. So 398 is around this 3 upper weeks over here. Then price broke out Thursday. So as long as price maintains about 398 and 5 SMA, I think still quite bullish. But if it falls below that, then we could be looking at some further pullback, maybe towards 377 or the 10 SMA. In terms of the SanDisk, I think resistance wise could be maybe if it tests the upper Bollinger Band, okay, that's like maybe 443. Yeah, as of Friday's close. Yeah, so that's my take on some of these names. Okay, then next one, Walt Disney. Okay, let me adjust some of the charts. Okay, well, for Walt Disney, I think um there was a gap down over here that subsequently recovered after the results. So key level over here was at 108. Then price range consolidation between 111 to 116. So 116 is still key resistance. This swing high as well as the recent level. So a bit sideways. Recently, I think is as of Friday is below the 5, 10, 20 SMA levels. And so if it breaks below 111, we might be looking at 108 retest again. Yeah. Yeah, so it might be still, I think overall still quite range bound for this counter. It's like previously 111 to 116. But if we break down 111, I think it would be 108 to 111, around there. Yeah, so still very much range, but I think for it to really regain back, for it to really form a term bullish, really need to break 116. Yeah. Okay. I'll do one more counter, it's about 9:15. So GE Healthcare. Okay, for GE Healthcare, let me look at the chart. So in terms, there's some weakness last week. So previously, I think this was I think I was looking at it over here previously. Then 86 breakout. Then okay. Then till last Tuesday onwards, we've seen some weakness back. So big price failed to sustain this 86. Then weakness all the way back to test 80, this 81, 82 level. So we need to see whether it can do a bit of rebound over here. But currently it's also below the all the SMAs. And short-term resistance might be at 84.50 onwards um, over here. So a bit weak for now. If it breaks, continue to break below this level, then we might be seeing some further weakness towards this key support at 78 to 79 over here. Yeah. So that's it for GE Healthcare. Yeah, currently on the weekly, I think it's at a key level 10 SMA level as well. So this needs to hold for bounce, but short term wise, there might be some resistance on the breakdowns last week. And volume was also increasing as well in terms of the recent pullback. Okay, I'll stop over here. I think there's still like around 15 questions. Sorry, I'm unable to take all of them in view of the time, but I really appreciate all of you for joining in and also asking questions. Then everyone just look at then we just look at the different counters together. So I'll just stop sharing my screen right now. Let me just share some links in the chat. Okay, so sorry, I just saw this question by Santi in the chat. Hi, can I able to buy I think XAU USD in Poem platform? Sorry, I'm not too sure about that. Maybe you can try to contact customer service. Maybe I think you can find their contact on the Poem's website. Yeah, to ask more about it. Yeah, so sorry, I'm not really sure about this. So okay, I've got the survey form in the chat. So you can feel free to fill up your feedback on today's session. If you enjoyed today's session, welcome to leave any feedback. Also, if you have any suggestions on how you can improve your experience, feel free to leave them below as well, so I can try to really improve everyone's experience. And also, if you're new or you haven't joined, feel free to join the Poems P3 community if you haven't. So you can download using the app, the link over there. Yeah, so you can ask TA questions in the TA group as well. And I'll also drop the Poems Telegram handle at Poems TA. So that's the Telegram handle if you haven't joined as well. So there's TA content time to time over there. Okay, so that's it for today's TA session. Yeah, so sorry, I really can't don't have the time to take all of the questions, but really appreciate everyone for tuning in and leaving questions. Yeah, and I hope you all have a good week ahead. I think there's quite a lot of things going on this week, other than the economic calendar, other than the TCE, all this. I think there's some Supreme Court ruling on the on those as well. And yeah, we see how it goes over the Greenland stuff also as well. So yeah, hope you all have a good trading week ahead and a good rest tonight. I think there's no market. Yeah. And hope to see you again in the next session. That will be next week. Yeah. Good night everyone and bye bye.